Hey guys, Kevin here from thesportsgeek.com, and in this video I'm going over my DraftKings NFL Week 13 picks. Before we move on to Week 13, let's take a look back at Week 12. Overall, a pretty solid week for me and my picks that I posted here and emailed out. You can see on the left-hand side my solid picks. Decker with 17 points. Gates was one of the top tight ends with 21. Bortles and Robinson both had good games, 26 and 16 points, with Robinson getting a late touchdown. Unfortunately, my top quarterback receiver combo was a bust. Hoyer put up 14 points, Hopkins with 8. And then also listed under my bust is Heath Miller, who put up 9.5 points in basically one quarter before getting injured. So it wasn't a bad pick necessarily. I think he was on his way to 20 plus DraftKings points. We just had some bad luck there with Heath Miller. And then at the bottom there, you can see that I also emailed out Adrian Peterson as a pick and Landry. Peterson was the top running back of the week and Landry was one of the top receivers. So those were two solid picks added on to that as well. So if you guys aren't getting my emails, make sure you sign up for that. Just click on the lineup tool link in the YouTube description below. That'll sign you up for my weekly picks emails as well. All right, quick shout out to a couple guys who emailed me and then won some money. We have Carson, took down first in the tournament, made $50. Congrats, Carson. Brad took 8th place and made $1,500 at FanDuel. And then Jared, he won $500 and he was one 9-yard catch away from $2,000 to $5,000. So either way, still a good win with $500. Congrats to you three. And if your name's not on this list, I hope it is next week. All right, let's get started with my Week 13 picks. My favorite quarterback wide receiver stack is Ryan Fitzpatrick at $5,200 with Brandon Marshall at $7,100. They're facing the Giants, who are 29th in yards against per play and 25th in passing yards against per play. Fitzpatrick's coming off a game where he scored 29 DraftKings points, and it could have been higher, but they were blowing out the Dolphins, so they took it easy a bit, ran the football, and Fitzpatrick still ended up with 29 points. So good day for him. He's showing some upside there. Marshall has double-digit DraftKings points in every game this year and has a touchdown in 8 of 11 games, including 4 straight. So Marshall's an elite receiver at a pretty good price still, and if you're pairing him with Fitzpatrick, you're getting a really cheap and good stack this week. One of my top running back plays this week is going to be Doug Martin at $5,900. Martin's been underrated all season because of a few games where he hasn't done much, but he has had some big games. He does have the upside with games of 28, 39, 23, and 26 DraftKings points this year. He's facing the Falcons, who rank 19th in the league in DVOA rush defense, so I think he's got a pretty good matchup. I think he's underrated. He might be underowned, and I'll be taking him as one of my top running backs this week. My top wide receiver, and it's going to be a lot of people's top wide receiver for the week, is Danny Amendola at just $4,700. Amendola should be back for this week, according to the reports, but make sure he's healthy and playing before you roster him. In his last game started without Edelman in the lineup, he scored 23.7 DraftKings points, and that was with a touchdown taken away from him by the refs. Even with Edelman in the lineup, he put up 20 plus DraftKings points twice earlier this season, and this week he's the main target for Brady, and he's facing a struggling Eagles defense. $4,700 is crazy cheap for him this week. I'm sure he's going to be highly owned, but you can't leave him out in most of your lineups. One of my top tight ends this week is Travis Kelce at $4,700. The Chiefs are facing the Raiders, who are giving up the most fantasy points against tight ends based on salary. Kelce has 5 plus targets in each game this year, with 7 or more in the majority of games played. And he's put up double-digit DraftKings points in 6 games, with one game of 31.6 DraftKings points. So in a great matchup, a good price. Alex Smith has looked good lately. I'll be rostering Kelce quite a bit this week. All right, so my last 5 DraftKings picks for this week. We've got Cam Newton, $7,400. It's going to be a popular play, but we got to roster him. He's been one of the best fantasy quarterbacks all season. Now he's facing the Saints, who have maybe the worst defense in the league. The Saints are giving up 8.8 yards per passing play, which is easily the worst in the league. And Cam has already surpassed 30 DraftKings points 3 times this year, and this could be his 4th time this week. So with Cam, you got to pair him up with Greg Olsen at $6,400. Olsen's his favorite target, and he's had double-digit DraftKings points in 5 straight games, and he's had 2 games where he's put up 29 and 36 DraftKings points this week. I think Olsen's going to get the ball quite a bit in this game. Another running back play, this one's a cheap one with David Johnson at $3,400. He's taking over the lead role in Arizona with some injuries, and he's a great value play at this price. We haven't seen too much of Johnson, but all he's done this year is score touchdowns, with 6 this season on limited opportunities. He doesn't have the best matchup versus St. Louis, but he should have a fine day, especially given the price at $3,400. Another receiver here, T.Y. Hilton at $5,700. He'll be going up against the Steelers on Sunday night, who have been a great team to target when choosing fantasy receivers, like we saw last week with Doug Baldwin going off with 3 touchdowns against them. Hilton's a solid number one receiver, but he's still not priced like one at 5,700. Last week, he was targeted 12 times, caught 6 passes for 95 yards and 2 touchdowns for 27 DraftKings points. And we could see something similar to that Sunday night in what could be a shootout versus Steelers. And then my defense of the week is the Broncos at 3,400. In my opinion, the Broncos are the best defense right now. They're facing the Chargers this week, who haven't been bad offensively, but they also haven't faced many tough defenses. In games that they face what I would call good defenses, in the Chiefs, Vikings, and Bengals, Rivers put up just 16, 11, and 6 DraftKings points. And with the Chargers having no run game, I think they're going to struggle against the Broncos, and I'll make the Broncos my number one defense this week. Alright, so that's it for week 13. If you enjoyed this video, let me know by clicking the thumbs up button on YouTube so I know to keep making them. And as long as we get 1,000 thumbs up this week, I'll make one again for week 14. And if you don't already have my free lineup generator tool, make sure you click on the link in the YouTube description below to get that absolutely free. And as always, guys, good luck in your contest this week. I hope you guys make some money. Cheers.